welcome to episode 52. If you can see down in the corner, we have an injured dog. Here he is. This is, hold on one sec. There we go. We're on Orson cam right now. He just got his balls chopped off. So now he has to, hold on one sec. Let me just, boom, there. So he's got this cone on. If anybody has ever owned a puppy, you've done this, unless you're one of those fucking assholes. It's like, I ain't chopping my dog's balls off. He's gonna have his balls and his personality. He's gonna hump stuff and attack people. Which I don't know that that's what they do, but I'm gonna go with that because it serves my side of the argument, which is you should just do it. Get your dog's balls chopped off, or their pussy chopped off. How does it work for the girls' dogs' pussies? Is it scooped out? Anyway, that's a bad way to start the podcast. Welcome to the show. My special's out. If you in the bottom corner right there, it's called Take Care. It's on YouTube. It's free. Here's the deal. Subscribe. That helps. Watch it. That helps. Like and comment. That really helps. And the comment can be whatever. It could just be thumbs up, hell yeah, cool, good, great, fuck you. It doesn't matter. What matters is that, those things help. Okay, we got some movement. Okay, he just sat right back where he was. Okay, well, should we get a light on him? Some mood lighting. UFO dog. Okay. Normally he has more energy than a crackhead on speed and something else. I lost track of my own joke because I knew that was going to happen. I was like, crackhead on speed, and he's about to move. He's about to get up. Now he's up. Now he's moving. Hold on. Stay here. Stay there. Good boy. Can't have you jumping around. Good job. That's it. Stay right there. So he's not allowed to jump up and down, and that's all he wants to ever do. He's jumping up and down on the couches and the bed and whatever. So he has to wear a cone on his head for 10 days, which is so funny. And he doesn't hate it. He obviously, when it first went on, he was like, get this off. He's trying to scratch it and, it's see-through, so that helps. But now I think he's used to it. I think he thinks it's going to be there for the rest of his life. Which the idea that any living thing just has like something appear around its head and then they're just like, oh, this sucks, and then 24 hours later they're like, well, it is what it is. What can you do? Life goes on. He's forgotten it's there. It's pretty funny. That's what makes dogs so awesome, dude, is that they will just roll with the punches. They don't care. They will protest against something, and then you say no, and then 5 minutes later they forgot they were ever upset about anything that's ever happened to them. And then they just go right back to like, so are we gonna hang out, or like, is there food coming? I know that I'm pretty sure I had food earlier and I'd like some later if that's possible. They get used to certain things. They get like, conditioned, and like they're on like, they have these like inner clocks where like it's 5 p.m. and the dog rushes to the dog bowl and he's like waiting. That kind of stuff is like, that stays, but they quickly just forget about stuff. I know like some abused animals, obviously, like there's things that trigger them, but they don't have like these clear memories of things that, so you can like train them out of stuff. Like when I got RICKY, he had all these weird fears, man. He didn't like the the sounds of lighters. He thought those were like, I don't know whoever smoked like used to abuse him. Whoever used to abuse him smoked cigarettes or whatever. But the sound of a lighter just made him sad. Like he would just look down, and then he would just leave a room, and I'm just like, ugh. And then like tall, methy looking white guys who smelled like cigarettes. Those are the only people he doesn't like. He hates Jason Tebow. And Jason is a tall, skinny white guy who has been known to smoke cigarettes. Come here, Orson. Stay here. Stay right here, buddy. Good boy. Um, and he's the only person he's ever hated. And it drives Tebow insane because dogs love him and he's great with animals and he's grown up with them. And I'm the same way. Like if a dog doesn't like me, and that's only probably ever happened like once, it becomes my life's mission to get it to like me. Come on, buddy, stay here. I know this sucks for you. You don't like the way your body feels right now, and I understand that. And so the other thing that we have on him that's really funny is uh, the fucking the onesie. So he barely looks like a dog right now. It's funny. He just is like this like ball of fabric with like tiny little legs coming out of the bottom and a cone and a little tiny head. It's really funny. It just makes me laugh. And he's all doped up on smack. So like he's walking around outside when he goes to pee. He's just like stumbling everywhere. God, it's so entertaining. Dogs are just they're so funny in those ways. Like they're completely innocent of, you know, like moral right and wrong. They don't have any like ill will, and they don't like hate people. They don't for like reasons that they are aware of, and they don't know what good and bad is in the way humans do. And that's what's so great about them. They'll get in trouble, and then you'll, tell them to stop doing something. They'll look sad for a minute because your tone has changed. But then they're just like right back to being the exact dog that they were. And they're so loyal, and they're so like, protective and friendly, and they're just like there for you on a fundamental level. And I don't know. It's every once in a while I look at Ricky, and I just see how he's getting older and stuff, and it just makes me sad. But I know that I know that he loves me, and I love him, and I don't know, every once in a while I'm just like, I hope he just like, as much as a dog can know, I hope he just knows, that I'm just like, I gave him the best life I possibly could. And I act like he's dying tomorrow, but like he's fine. He's healthy. He's just like 11 and a half. He's like starting to slow down, and he's getting some grays and stuff. So, I don't know. You just start looking at your dog and you're just like, And then the puppy is like, he's not even one yet. So he's just like, those little like mini rubber balls that you'd get out of those like coin dispenser things at supermarkets. I think I'm dating myself. I don't think they have those anymore. But those super ultra bouncy balls just bing, bing, pew, 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 pew. Or like when someone shoots a gun in a cartoon with a bing, bing, ding, 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 it's just bouncing off a wall. That's the puppy. He's just bouncing off walls. And it's really funny, but it just like highlights, this contrast between the two dogs. And the one is starting to get older. I'm just like, But it's nice to have like a young puppy who just is like curious and doesn't know what's going on and is figuring it out. And in the last 2 days his life has changed completely, where he's like, well, I don't have balls anymore, and I have a permanent cone attached to my head, and the onesie isn't coming off. It calms him down, so that thing's gonna stay on until the cone comes off. And it's just like he's been so mellow. It's great. And he just like stumbles around and just wants to sleep and stuff. It's really funny. I wonder if he's thinking right now, like, why is this guy talking to himself? he doesn't know what a podcast is. So he is just watching me look forward with no other people in the room. There's no one here. Just imagine, like, you walk into a room and there's just a guy basically talking at a wall. You'd be like, I'm out of here. Which is, I think, why he keeps trying to leave. Come here, dude. Stay here. Sit. Lay down. Good boy. Good boy. You are a conehead. You are a conehead now. Look at this. You are a conehead forever. This is your life. You will live with a cone on your head forever. Look at that cinematic lighting he's got on his head. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, we took him down to New Jersey. I've never been to Red Bank, New Jersey before, but that's where the clinic was, because in New York, it turns out, if you want to have your dog neutered, they need to neuter your bank account. They will take all your money, and they also don't have any appointments for, a year. So once the appointment comes, then they'll take all your fucking money. It's insane. There were a couple places that were like, all right, so it's $695 for the neutering. You're like, ouch. Like, God, I felt that in my balls, And then they go, oh, and then there's also the pre-op visit. Then there's the medicine you have to pay for. So you're just like, dude, I'll just go get a fucking giant pair of scissors. No. You're like, all right, well, we'll find one out of state and then rent a goddamn car and drive to it and do it. And then that's going to still be way cheaper. And guess what? It was. So if you live in Brooklyn or New York or whatever, there is a place called the Spay and Neuter Clinic. It's in Holmden, New Jersey, which is near Red Bank, which I think more people know. It's a cool little, like, tourist kind of town over there. There's a Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash comic book store is there, which the only reason I know that is because I was looking for coffee places and that thing popped up, which I don't know if that's the only one, and that means that's where Kevin Smith is from, or they've opened more of those, but I want to say he's from somewhere in New Jersey, and that's where Clerks took place. I'm making all this up right now, so I don't know anything. All I know is that this dog has now decided to have energy when I'm recording a podcast, so that's good. So anyway, we took his ass there, and it was $300. That's it for everything. So our first thought obviously was like, all right, it's going to be, this rundown shack with like the roof is missing, and they're like, all right, drop your dog off at 8 a.m. and then pick him up at 2. And then we pick him up at 2 and they've like neutered his head. We're like, why'd you just give us a headless dog? He's not even alive. And they're like, oh, we knew he was extra calm after his neutering. So we had that slight worry, but they had good reviews on Google and Yelp, and they were like really communicative, which is great. And when we showed up at like 8, there were a parking lot full of people. All these people were dropping their dogs off, and we're like, all right, at least they'll all die together if this place does suck. So he made it, though. He made it out alive. He made it out alive with 2 less balls. And I wonder if dogs is he aware right now, you think? That where he's just like, dude, these things that were here that I used to lick are kind of, I feel like they're not there anymore, but this cone is preventing me from getting to there, which I think might be related. Silly little dog. Oh, man. You know what why I think the other reason I'm starting to notice that the dog is getting old, because I'm starting to notice that I'm getting older. And I don't really think that in terms of like my physical self until I threw out my back twice in the last few months. The first time, end of January, I was shoveling snow and I threw out my back like bad. I couldn't really. I mean, I could stand and walk, but it was like super slow and it hurt a lot. Sitting upright sucked. I just basically was laying down for a day and a half. And then, it slowly got better each day. And I thought it was a muscle thing. I wasn't sure. A week later, though, it was gone. I was back to normal. I did a couple of bike rides and um, I flew to LA and I did a couple of gigs. I was carrying like luggage and stuff. I felt fine. And then on March 7th, I was crouched down. Okay. So I always lift with my legs. And when I was shoveling snow, I was lifting with my legs. The whole reason I was doing it is I was at my girlfriend's family's cabin. And I was shoveling snow for them because I would needed a workout, and I was like, I'll just shovel everything, the roof, the driveway, like everywhere. I'll just shovel everything. It'll give me a good workout. There's no gyms. There's no way to get anything done. And it was good. I did it for like 3 days in a row. And then that third day, luckily I was done. It was day 3 of 3. That's when it happened. It sucks. So I am crouched down in the apartment. This is March 7th. And I'm leaning forward a little. I'm not even fully extended. I'm moving my guitar amp towards me. I didn't pick it up. And even if I did, it's not even a heavy amp. It's a small amp. And I'm sliding it towards me. Okay. And I get halfway to me and I just felt this like bolt of lightning shoot across my back. And that's how I felt that first time. And this time I knew it was not a muscle thing because that's not how that shit happens. I wasn't lifting anything. I wasn't even bent over. I was like, this is something else. And this is not good. And I immediately stood up, I barely could, and I went and just laid down on the couch and I was like, this is the beginning of a new problem, and a problem I wouldn't have had at 25. 2 days, same thing. I can barely walk without just wincing in pain. And we were at a coffee, so I had to get coffee a couple blocks away, like New York blocks, short streets. And I couldn't make it half a block without having to stop and just do that with my face. Just, and just put my hand on my back. And I was like, I can't believe I'm feeling like this. I've never felt like this. I've always had sort of a back problem. Never anything, less than completely manageable. And I couldn't do it. It took me 10 minutes to walk like 2.5 blocks, which is crazy. So I get the coffee and I had to sit down for like 15 minutes. I couldn't do it. And I must have looked like an 80-year-old trapped in a 40-year-old's body. I mean, people must have looked at me walking like, what? Did that guy get shot in the leg? Why is he walking like that? That's how it felt, at least. It was so painful. And I get home and I couldn't, like, there was nothing I could do. I couldn't sit. I couldn't stand. I couldn't lay down. All of it felt bad. And I went and sat on my office chair, my desk chair, which, dude, I'm congratulating me 3.5 years ago for getting a Herman Miller Embody chair. It's one of those like ergonomic ones where the back of it looks like a spine or whatever, and it curves to the shape of your back. It's meant to be like an sit upright chair. I found one. They're expensive, but I found one at a Design Within Reach outlet store that had a sale and then a sale on top of the sale. And I think I got it for $320. It's a $1,400 chair. I couldn't pass it up. And I was looking out for my bot. I was like, you know what? 3 something is still a lot for a desk chair. But I'm like, I sit in this thing all day. It's probably going to help my back in the long run and just help me sit and write longer and stuff. And I was like, that's a good investment. That was like 2018, not 19, I think. Um, dude, turns out this is the only thing I can sit in without writhing in pain. So I'm sitting in this chair and I'm just like, something is wrong with my back and it's not a muscle pull. And I just felt that moment where I was like, I have to just accept that this is probably something worse. And my girlfriend was like, you have to call a doctor. Call a doctor. You need to call a doctor. Call a doctor because you have to call a doctor and you should call a doctor. And have you thought about calling a doctor? And if you haven't, think about it and call a doctor. And then after you're thinking about it and you're done thinking, call a doctor. So then I was like, I should call a doctor. And then I was like, what were you saying, babe? And turns out she was saying the same thing, but I thought it first. So I call a doctor. And weirdly, he had an appointment that day. That never happens with anything in the city. I get on a train. It's in Midtown. And I mean, just walking down the stairs into the subway, sitting down, standing up, walking the 7 or 8 blocks after I got out. I was going to take an Uber, but it was $54 goddamn dollars. And no. So I get there finally, and I felt like I walked 15 miles in like brand new boots. That pain where you're just like, ugh. But the pain was in my lower back. But it was that same sort of thing where like by the end you're barely able to move and you're like, I just want to get there. These boots are so new and they're not broken and I hate my life. It was that, but for my lower back. And I get into the doctor's office. He comes in. He goes, what's wrong? I explain the situation. And he goes, okay. And you could tell he's just like, I'm pretty sure I know what this is immediately because this is my job. And he goes, walk back and forward and walk on your tiptoes, walk on your heels. And he goes, do you feel any like pain? If I'm going to like, press. He said, I'm going to press this thing towards you onto your leg. And I'm going to do that little knee tap thing, which I haven't had done in forever. Both my knee reflexes fucking amazing. Just so you guys know, my knee reflex so good. So good. Here's me overcompensating for my back problem. Dude, my knees are so reflexive. You have no idea. I bet my knees can out reflex your knees. So he goes, all right, lean back. I'm going to like pull your leg up towards you and then pull your other leg up. And he does that. And there's like zero pain below my back on my like legs all the way down and above that exact spot on my lower back. And it's so bizarre. And that's how I knew it wasn't a muscle thing. I'm like, in my mind, he was going to go, your, vertebrae is fucking like cracked in half. I don't know what back problems can be, but I knew it was going to be something bad. So then he says, all right, let's go ahead and sit up and let's have a conversation. I'm like, don't fucking say it like that. Let's have a conversation. I was like, this is going to be bad. And he goes, okay. I was able to figure out what this is. It's pretty clear. You have a herniated disc. And I was like, fuck. And he just looks at me like, and then I look at him and I'm like, wait, is that bad? It sounds awful. Doesn't it sound terrible? A herniated disc. It's otherwise known as a slip disc, which sounds a little less. It sounds like you slipped on a banana peel. Oops, my back hurts for 2 days. So he goes, look, no, it's, these things happen. They're very common, and yours is mild. I'm like, mild? I can barely fucking walk a block and a half without having to sit down. And he goes, look, it's common, and it feels worse than it is, and you need to chill on exercising, no more shoveling snow, shit like that. And he goes, I'm going to give you some yoga exercises and recommend some physical therapy. And I was like, how long before I can ride my bike or lift weights? Or he's like, so he says this. He goes, herniated discs can take up to 6 months to fully heal. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. He's like, you can start riding your bike like a little and, but just nothing intense, no really long rides, which is all I like to do. And it just hit me in that moment as I was leaving and, limping my way back to the train. I was just like, damn, man, this is, it always, obviously it had happened on like right when I fucking turned 40. It's so stupid. I'm like, yeah, I'm not young anymore. It just feel like I feel young. I don't feel like mentally, I don't feel 40. Um, but yeah, like a slip disc, not fun. Not fun. Um, and it still hurts, It's March something. 17th. It's March 17th and it still hurts. Um It hurts to do everything. It hurts to like sit, lay down, take a shit, fuck. All of it. It hurts. Life hurts. And let's see what the dog's doing. Okay. What were you doing just now? Okay. He was fucking doing something weird with his head. I think he remembered that the cone is on his head. So, yeah, I'm not a normal young person anymore. I am a person who can have a herniated disc, and I'm a man in my 40s, and it's not fun. So it's just been a bummer, and it just reminds you that you're just like you're starting to get old, and I need to redouble my efforts on taking care of myself. Like I think I'm pretty good at taking care of my like physical health, but I mean, I got to start seriously doing there's no room now in my life to not have yoga in there, cuz that's the only period of time in my life where my back never hurt. Like I felt like my joints and my like I just felt stronger in ways I don't when I'm like just working out, lifting weights. Um, you just feel like sturdier, when you're doing yoga. So it's like, well, all right, I now have to do it. I like have to. It has to be a part of the, every other day thing, or at least two, 3 times a week. Because I can't have this happen again. I can't not be riding my bike. I can't not be working out. It really frustrates me, and it really makes me feel like helpless, and not in the ways where I'm helpless, oh, I can't get up and move around. Helpless in terms of like my mortality, I'm just like, God damn it, I am gonna fucking fall apart one day. Like it's not forever. It's not permanent. It's not. And then that starts to make you think like, dude, I have to leave my mark. I need to work on a legacy and have a fucking, all that shit. Like I have to do something with my life is the, um, was the realization I had. And I don't know. Everything feels more impermanent than ever. And I know that's a lot to, think about when you have a as a result of having a herniated disc, but I don't know, man. That's what it made me feel like. Not being able to move around like that is for a couple of days was like, and all from like, and I think it was the manner in which it happened too, like crouching down and sliding something towards me. Like, come on, that it can happen like that. And he said it was because it didn't heal the first time, but how I wouldn't have been able to tell the difference. I felt perfectly normal. So now when I'm like back to feeling normal, which I'm like getting there, I'm not gonna be. I can't be crouching down and sliding amps towards me. Cause it's gonna be 6 months until it fully heals. Dude, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit if it happens again. 8 or 9 months from now, that's how people just fucking stop moving and like, gain weight and just go, oh man, I remember when I was below 200 pounds back when I was 35. And you're just like, what happened? And it's probably a bunch of fucking vertebrae are falling out of their backs. God damn it. It sucks, dude. Do yoga. I can't even stress it enough. Just start. There's no bad comes from it. I've never felt healthier in my back and legs. That year and a half where I was doing it like 2, 3, 4 days a week. Fuck. That was the healthiest I've ever felt in terms of like my back and legs and knee and all that. Anyway. Oh, I'm just starting to, like, age hits me in a weird way. It like I really feel those, like turning 30, like turning 35, my 40th birthday. It just like mentally makes me just, I don't know. I just start looking at my life and what I've done, like, milestones like that, and just like things that signify the end of a year, birthdays, new years, all that kind of shit. That stuff just like it, I don't know, it really gets to me, and I'm really trying to not let it, but I don't know. This herniated disc at the age of 40 is like, and I just feel like I'm like floating in space with like, what am I going to do next? That kind of stuff. Come here, buddy. Don't run away from me. Sit down. You're not allowed to jump off couches. Now you have energy when I'm doing a podcast. All right, I should take this dog outside and see if he needs to pee or something. He hasn't been fucking doing anything. He's just been sleeping and barely eating. So I'm like taking him outside. And he's trying to sniff the grass, and his cone hits the grass, and then he trips. It's really funny, but not a lot of doggy bowel movements. But we'll see what happens. He's feeling better. I'm feeling better. That's a good sign, and I need to make something of myself, man. I only have 40 more years left on this earth. I was trying to look at it that way too, where I was like, I'm 40. I was thinking back to things I was doing when I was 25, and I was like, God damn it. It's like that line in the movie Pirate Radio where they realize, like, they have this moment of like sadness where they just realize, like, these are the best years of our lives. Like, they realize them in that moment. I was realizing that about my, 20s and stuff, where I was just like, those are young, free. And I was like, yeah, but when I'm 60, I'm going to think about like ages 30 to 45 as the best years of my life. And I'm trying to just like reframe it in that way where, just live in the moment, enjoy all this stuff. It's just hard. It's just hard. It's especially in this stupid fucking line of work where you just don't know what the next day is going to bring, and usually it's nothing, and it's just fucking stressful and miserable. But, but at least I'm not wearing a cone around my head that I think is going to be there forever. You ready to go outside, Orson? What do you think, buddy? You want to go outside? That's right. Those ears say yes. Those ears say yes. All right, guys. Take care of your vertebrae, and I will see you next time. Say bye, Orson. Say bye. You know how to say bye to the camera?
Subscribe, comment. Okay. Don't be a dear.